let's move on and see how can we implement multiple linear regression in Python. To show this, I have taken a very simple problem statement wherein I want to predict the profit made by a startup on the basis of expenses incurred by it and the state where they are operating in. Okay. So in this section, I have imported all the libraries that are required for this, and then I import the dataset using pd.readcsv, wherein I have the data of 50 startups, which is saved in the file 50 startups.csv. So as I already explained, it has 50 data points, and this is how the data frame looks like. The first column is R&D spend, the second column is administration, the third column is the marketing spend, the fourth column is the state that the startup is operating in, and the profit made by that startup. So every row corresponds to one startup, and I have 50 such rows. Okay. Now I do a dataset dot save. So I see 50 comma 5, that is 50 rows are there and 5 columns, right? Okay. Now let's see if I can visually see any kind of correlation with the profit uh, of the profit with all the other variables. So in the first graph, I have plotted a scatter plot of profit versus the marketing spend. So here I can see a fairly linear relationship between these two. So I can conclude that marketing spend is a very good variable, will be a very important variable in predicting the profit, because I can see some sort of linear relationship between the two. Okay. Similarly for R&D spend, I also here also I see a very good linear relationship between profit and the R&D spend. In administration, the scatter plot does not show a rich correlation between these two variables, but still there is some amount of correlation. So this can also be a feature. This will not contribute much, is what I am guessing, but this can be one of the features. Okay, so the final variable that we have is the state that the startup is operating in. Okay, so here I have plotted the average profit for different states where the startups operate. So I see the average profit is the highest for Florida based startups, and second highest for New York, and third highest for California. So there is some difference in the profits made by uh, companies which are operating in three different states. So I think this will also contribute to some extent in determining the profit of a particular startup. Okay. So if I do a value counts of state, I see 17 startups are based out of California, 17 are based out of New York, and 16 are based out of Florida. So now these variables are this state variable is a categorical variable, and we know that in linear regression or multiple linear regression we can only input continuous values. So I'll try to convert all these this state variable into three dummy variables corresponding to each state. So this is how my final data set will look like. So in New York, I'll construct three new features. One will be New York State, which will be 1 if that startup is based out of New York, and 0 otherwise. Similarly, I will calculate these two columns for California and Florida, right? So to achieve this, what I have done is that I have constructed a new feature, New York State, and for constructing this feature, I have used the this syntax. I have written np.where. So wherever I see state equal to New York, I will I will write 1, otherwise 0. And similarly, I construct these two variables also. And then finally, I drop the original column, that is state. So my final data set will now look like this. And so before proceeding to the modeling part of this particular data set, it's very important that we define the dependent variable and the independent variables upfront. Okay, in the dependent variable, I have written profit. Okay, which is what I want to predict. So it's my dependent variable. And to construct the list of independent variables, I have uh, taken all the column names into one list, and then I have removed the dependent variable out of it. So I get the independent variables as this. Okay. So here I can see R&D spend, administration, marketing spend, New York State, California State, and Florida State are my 6 independent variables, which will be used to predict this dependent variable profit. And that will help you in subsetting your original data frame. So the first thing that I do is that I write the dependent variable as profit. I create a list of all the independent variables. For doing that, I write dataset.columns.toList. So this will give me all the columns, but then I remove the dependent variable out of it. Okay. So now I have my independent variables as these 6 variables, and my uh, dependent variable is profit. So this is my x values. So this will be x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, and this will be my y. Okay, profit will be my y. So this is the hypothesis that I have made, that these values will be able to predict this value. Okay. Now I will create my data set for modeling. So x value. So this is a matrix. X will be a matrix wherein I will have all the independent variables as columns, and my all the data of my 50 startups as my rows. So I'll just write data set, and then I subset only the independent variables from my data set and take the values of it to convert it into an array. Okay. Similarly, I'll create my y variable. Okay, which is my dependent variable. So I write dataset dependent variable dot values. Okay. Now I want to do a train test split, as you might remember. So this is the mandatory process wherein you will keep the majority part for training, and then the remaining part you will keep for testing how your model uh, is performing. Okay. So I have created a test size of 0.2. This means that I will divide my data set in a such a way that 80% of my data will go into my training set, and 20% of my data will go into the test set. Okay. So I write x y test size, and then I give a random state 0, and this will return my all these 4 data sets, which is one will be xtrain, which will contain my 80% of the x values. This contains 20% of my x values. Okay. So so I have 50 variables of 50 rows, right? 50 rows. So 20% of that is 10 rows will go into my test set, and 40 rows will go into my training set. Okay. Now what I'm doing is that I'll not feed the value of the variables as it is. I'll not feed them as is into my model. I'll do some transformation on my values so that I get all the independent variables in the range of 0 to 1. Okay. So I am using a min max scaler to do this. Okay. So what my aim is, uh, let's say my values are, so the values, if you can see, these are dummy variables with values 0, 1, and so on. This is a very high value. These all are high values. How do I scale them all in the same range so that my model will be able to learn better, right? So I want all these values to be relative, so among themselves. So I want them to be in the range of 0 to 1. For that, what I want to do is that I'll take the max value and the minimum value of this column. Okay. My formula is my x scaled will be x minus x minimum by x max minus x minimum. So if you think about this formula, it will convert all my values into values between 0 and 1. Okay. So if I want to convert this value, this minus whatever is the max of this column, by whatever the range is whatever is the range of this column. That is, range is defined by x max minus x min. So you take the difference of the maximum and the minimum values of this column, right, in the denominator. In the numerator you will write this value minus the minimum value. This will convert all my values between 0 and 1. Okay, so I'll show you how I have achieved that. So I have written I have initialized this min max scalar, which again I have taken from scikit-learn package itself. So it is there, you don't have to write this code by yourself. So from sklearn.preprocessing import min max scalar. Okay, so I have I have initialized this scalar object, and then from this scalar object I use the method fit transform. Okay, and then I send the values of x train. So what this fit transform means, it will fit it and then transform those values. Fit means it will decide the values of x min, x max from the training data set, okay, for each of the columns, and then transform it accordingly. If I use only transform, it will take whatever values of x min and x min and x max are there in the training data set, and it will use those values to transform my test data set. So this is very important in machine learning. You will do all the operations based on your training data set, and then you will use the same transformations in the test data set, right? You fit and transform in the training data set, but you only transform in the test data set. Because if you do a fit transform on the x test, it will have different values of x min and x max, right? And that will impact your model performance. Okay, so this is how the final data set will look like. So I have printed the first 10 rows from xtrain. It has 40 rows, if you remember. I have printed only the top 10. So you can see all the values of all the features. So there are 6 features: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All these values have been scaled between 0 and 1. Okay, similarly for the second row and so on. Okay, now it's time to send these values to my model. Okay, the syntax is same as uh, simple linear regression, but the only difference is instead of one x column you have now 6 columns, but the same function can handle it. Okay, so I write regressor equal to linear regression, and then regressor dot fit, and then I pass my x train and y train. Okay, now I will predict on my test data set. So my training is done in this step, right? Now I'll predict on my test data set. So y predicted, so the predicted values of y that are coming, that I will store in this variable y pred. So regressor dot predict x test. So you use the same object that you have used for fitting, and then you use that same object to predict. Okay, okay, so I have got the values of y corresponding to my values in the test data set. Okay, now how do I know whether it is performing good or not? So let's use an evaluation metric here. So you have already studied root mean squared error, right? It gives you a sense of uh, how much error is there on an average in each of your predictions. So I send the actual values, that is y test. So these are the in the test data set, what are my actual values of y, and in the test data set, what are my predicted values of y. So these two I send to the mean squared error function, and it will return me the uh, root mean squared error, because I have done a math.sqrt to take the root of it. So this will give me the mean squared error, and then I to take the root of it to get the root mean squared error. So what I can conclude is that if you see the values of profit, okay, So these are very high values. Like the first one is 1,92,000, right? From this, what I can say is that on an average, I'll be off by 9,000 units in predicting the profit. So this is what you will conclude. Okay. Again, we have R square, which is also one evaluation metric. Here I send Y test and Y pred, and it gives me a value of 0.93. So what is R square? So R square is also a very good way to measure the performance of a regression model. For if you have your model is working great and it is perfect, R square value will be 1. And if it is not working well, if it is a poor model, it will have lower values of R square, right? It can take negative values also, but generally it lies between 0 and 1. Okay, if your uh, model is very poor, it will start having negative values also. So we see that it's close to 1, right? 0.93 is a very good score. We can live with this error. We can predict to a certain with a certain accuracy the values of profit of all the startups, right? So this is how you implement multiple linear regression.